Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wayne Gaming, and studying me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Khemia. So yeah, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming not safe for work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. At the beginning, my instructor devoted 5 minutes at the end of each class period to humiliate me with questions he assumed I would not know the answer to. He likely hoped I would quit, but instead I studied and used what I learned to fight back. Within a month, I was answering more than half of his questions correctly, and that's when he stopped. I mentioned his name to my mother in one of my letters, and within weeks he was gone, fired by the headmaster who my mother knew very well. As soon as my name was touched, I would swing as hard as I possibly could. As soon as my mane was touched, I would swing as hard as I possibly could, fracturing 2 jaws before the attack stopped altogether. Eventually, I was at the top of my class, and by the time I graduated 5 years later, I was accepted into the most prestigious university on the moon. This is an odd dream. It's more of a narration of my past life, but it's important because I fought hard to be here, and I'm beginning to realize that while I believe those troublesome days of my youth to be over, that might not actually be the case. I need to fight now, for my family's sake and for my own. I see myself curled up, sobbing after smoking Brunus's pipe, and I sneer in a way that feels very unfamiliar, but it feels good. As these images of my childhood fade, I remember that the school I attended on the outskirts of Lux no longer exists. Almost a decade after my graduation, on the same day my life changed at the university, the school was burned to the ground by a mob of men from Lux. I never researched the aftermath because while I know most of the pups got out, some of them did not. Because of men who saw their gifted minds as threats. Just like the men who tried to kill me. And while I have tried to understand the plights of those who are poor or less educated, I sometimes find myself doing the opposite. Those men were beasts. Violent, stupid beasts who cannot reconcile with the fact that they were, in many ways, innately inferior. And that made me, my peers, and my professors a threat to them. This is an incorrect way to think, I know. And if I were to strip away all the etiquette, all the structured thinking that comes with being an academic, I wanted the same to places like the Clay District, where most of the men came from. I would like to raise that degenerate, disgusting place filled with degenerate, disgusting people to the point that it would seem as if it never existed. Like removing a stain from the fabric of an Astran society. I want to tear them apart. Because my friends, my professors, and parts of my mind have been torn apart. And because the pups burned in the outskirts of Lux have been torn apart. Dissolved into the horror of the amalgamation. They were themselves torn apart before they even knew who they were meant to be. What is this? This disturbingly lucid dream. Is this a dream at all? I stare out into the vast stretches of space, in awe of the size and of the simple fact that the universe exists. So you know, water time. Vaguely, I wonder if I've died, as if the moment I smoked the pipe I actually did die. Or maybe our ship somehow crashed and I've been left to float through space forever. Or for only a few more seconds before I suffocate. That'd be alright, I decide, even as I take a deep, easy breath of air. I'd rather feel this way, insignificant and meaningless against the monolithic oppression of the universe. Makes me feel oddly peaceful. My goodness, Scipio, if only your friends and colleagues could hear half of what you think. You sound a bit unstable. Oh, a deep but feminine voice comes from seemingly every direction. I look around, suddenly feeling as if I'm being spied upon, wondering if the directionless voice is from my own head. What? Amicus would not be happy to hear that you wish to raise entire districts to cleanse an Astra of its lower class. A fro on my neck prickles. I still have no idea what is happening. If this is truly a dream, or possibly even another side effect of the drugs. I didn't mean to think those things. I don't truly believe them, I mean. There's a deep, raspy chuckle, one that I recognize as distinctly feline. The one I had heard many times from recordings that involved Hindos. And I don't believe that, young wolf, and good guess, especially for someone who has never met a tiger. Oh. Well, hello there. But can you guess who I actually am? Her eyes are so piercing, so intense that although I want to ask again what exactly is happening, I feel obliged to answer. It's how I quickly run through the list of tigresses I know of, only one of which is alive, the current ruler of Hindo. Maharani Artie? The tigress eyes me closely so that I lower my eyes, just wishing that I could wake up soon. Consider the impossibility of where you are. You think Artie would try to come all the way here to talk to some pup? I swallow hard, trying to keep my breathing even. Because whatever this is, I think this is somehow real, which makes the possibility that this being can read my mind all the more disturbing. But there could be an explanation. Are you Mira? The quiet smile on her face answers my question. Well, I suppose 2 attempts is not terrible, though I must say that the human knew immediately. Amicus is human? If that is how you refer to him, yes. My explanation is seeming more likely, but I can't imagine why it would be the case. Mira stays silent, though the knowing look on her face tells me that she's waiting. Are the parents doing this? Are they making contact with me? Just like it is rumored that they did with the human. Mira is quiet for a while, so I stay quiet as well, unable to think of any other reason for this to be happening if it really is happening. The parents are a complex matter, Scipio. Direct communication with them is impossible, unless they break their own rules involving interference. I try to think of something else to say, but it is clear Mira is holding back information. Instead, I try to be more direct. Why did you bring me here? Is there something that I am supposed to do, or maybe you have instructions? Well, Scipio, I heard you. You are in need of guidance. You are wounded, but in a place that cannot be physically treated. Mira taps a finger to her head. So, You fear death. You fear the amalgamation. Rather, you feel it as an abomination, and deep down, though you will not admit it even to yourself. My hackles won't stay down, and now I just want to wake up. You do not trust the parents. Am I going to be punished? They know I'm a fraud, on a mission to further parental agendas that I don't truly believe in them. I'm only here for selfish reasons. I realize my legs are trembling. Please wake up. Mira raises a paw. Easy, young wolf. I'm only here to help you, to warn, and to advise. You need guidance. I'm here to offer it if you will take it. I frown and rack my brain for the lessons I had on Mira, if she was ever used in this manner in the past. Her main purpose was that of self-sacrifice, to push Drusus in the correct direction for the Empire. She has little to do with the parents. As far as I know, it is only the monitors that communicate for the parents. Does that mean that this is not sanctioned by the parents? Yes. And do not be afraid that you are not in lockstep with their vision for the future. I certainly am not. I never entered the amalgamation as I believe that it is an attack on life rather than a preservation of it. In the end, neither are they. They bicker just as much as siblings. Just as much as the siblings. The borders of the odd in-between world begin to shimmer and fade, and I realize it's ending. Wait, please! You said that you did not have to go to the amalgamation. That you can help fix me. Please, don't leave me yet. Mira smiles at me, and my desperation that I know must look unhinged. But I truly am desperate. This will not be the last time we speak. Trust that I will appear again when the time is right. This was merely an introduction. Okay, thank you, Mira. It was a pleasure meeting you, Scipio. Until next time. I slowly open my eyes, and this time I know I am truly awake. Despite being slightly groggy, I feel that I am mostly back to normal. I assess everything slowly, not wanting to make any sudden movements in case I'm still under the influence of the drugs. But again, all seems normal. I make a movement to sit up, and that's when someone beside me shifts. I gasp quietly, jerking my head in that direction, only to see Neferu there, sitting on the floor with his back against the bed. I rub my chest reflexively, wondering why I'm so on the edge, but also remembering that I had some very odd dreams that I can't quite remember. I'm sorry for startling you, and my apologies if it seems that I am still treating you like a child, but unfortunately after what happened, I needed to be nearby. For my own peace of mind. I shift and turn over so that I'm facing Neferu more directly, simultaneously pulling back the covers as an invitation for Neferu to sit, which he does. You didn't have to sit on the floor. We've shared his bed before, both ways. Well, yes, but you seemed upset before you went to sleep, and I feel it's rude to impose without asking in the first place. Well, now you know that you're always welcome, unless circumstances really change. You seem to be in good spirits, the way you always seem to be before this mission. You say that as if it has been a long time. We're not even a day into the mission, Neferu. Neferu is correct, though. For some reason, I'm far more optimistic now, more confident, more... Suddenly, I have some recollection as to what I dreamed or didn't dream. It does feel like a very long time, and like it or not, what has happened to you since is very troublesome. Are you all right? Neferu catches me not really paying attention as I revisit the dream or even vision of Mira. Water time. Sorry, just thinking back on what happened. Yes, it was somewhat ridiculous, but I think I have my mindset in order once again. That's good to hear. However, mental relapse is something you should expect to happen. Not that I want to bring your spirits down, but when it does, please do not hesitate to talk to me. I nod, though my mind is still on the vision. Excuse me. Part of me worries that it might be part of a delusion due to the drugs, and I especially don't trust my interpretation of what's real when I was just hearing voices. However, Mira had said something about the human meeting her, and Nephru knew him as well. And Nephru knew him well. Perhaps he knows something about this, or perhaps even Amicus, though I immediately have a strange but discernible feeling that might not be the best idea. I don't know why, but a hopeful part of me wishes that this might be the guidance Mira spoke of. Despite my doubts, however, the potential that somehow an entity that avoided the amalgamation is trying to help me, well, it's left me in a good mood. I take advantage of that to try and fully mend my friendship with Nephru, though I feel it's not even necessary, judging by how he's acting. I'm sorry for pushing you away earlier. Sorry, I could tell that it was hurtful, and I didn't mean for it to be. I simply wanted to appear less weak during a moment of weakness. You need not apologize. That is my own fault. Oh, how so? In the back of my mind, I remind myself that despite the intimate, close feelings I have with Nephru, this is all still technically a game. I should be calculating the best way to establish a relationship that Nephru cannot do without, even if Khemia itself is at stake. Vitorus told me earlier that this is an especially promising exploit, considering Nephru's relationship with his family. That is my job as a diplomat, but right now, I'm following my emotions wherever they take me. That is not how a diplomat should do their job. Still, this feels like the right path, and I imagine there has to be some level of genuine emotion involved if I'm to be the most effective. Nephru looks at me candidly, setting his lips in a thin line. I don't often like talking about it, but after how I treated you, I owe you. So I once knew an amorphin by the name of Alexios. Oh, you knew him personally? Alexios, the pet of Cassius, Amicus's brother and one-time false emperor. Alexios was an agent of Amorpha, sent to Ad Astra to sow chaos in the very fabric of our society, a mission that was ultimately successful. Second note, water time. One could say he is the main reason for the riots occurring. Well, I knew him, but I doubt anyone knew him personally. Anyway, despite nearly toppling Ad Astran stability, he was never a very good spy. He was simply underestimated. And he struck Cassius's fancy. It's easier to be a spy when you have such a connection to the very heart of power. I keep a straight face, but can't help but wonder if Nephru is emphasizing this on purpose, because he sees right through me. I see. Well, whenever he found himself cornered, he often fell into a bit of a peculiar state of mind. He would dampen his expressions and exhibit the emotional capacity of a rock, a classic diplomatic defensive maneuver he often deployed to get out of situations he did not like. He is possibly the most evil, immoral creature I have ever had the displeasure to know. To be clear, I knew he was a spy, just as all governments know that visiting diplomats have ulterior motives. What I didn't expect was a sniveling coward, willing to destroy the foundation of entire civilization, costing thousands of lives. I nod, though not having known the cat, I feel a bit detached. Amorpha has always loathed Ad Astra, as they see us to be the biggest threat to stability in the Galaxius. With all due respect to Amicus, I had always seen the situation to be the fault of the Imperial family for allowing an Amorphan to get so close in the first place. Anyway, when you came out of that lavatory, the look you gave me was strikingly similar, and I simply know that's not you, Scipio. You are a good, honest person, and I know you would never do something for the sake of destruction. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank you all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silvermoon. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to our gold tier patron, Amr. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!